Hey everybody, welcome to another Muddy Reviews. This is going to be an overview video of my Spanish FGNE G36KV build. So this is going to be a similar video to the other video I posted of the Belgian SFG SCAR build. So it's going to be a walkthrough of kind of how I approached the Spanish G36 build, and starting with the naked gun. So this is a more or less JG build. The only difference is the rail did not come with it. This is a ARES rail, and this is actually put on the gun after I had gotten it from a third party. This is a Jin Gong G36K. I believe it actually came with the KV stock. And then this top rail was another part that was put on by the previous owner that did not come on the JG. This is a specific rail that you need for a Spanish build. The only thing that's different on this rail is the fact that I actually modified it to put this cutout here. This is a cutout that you see in the actual Spanish Marine and Navy G36s, especially the FGNE ones. I don't know the maker of the rail that has this cutout in it. I have not been able to actually find the make. I looked for B&T, couldn't find it. Looked for H&K Original, couldn't find it. But nonetheless, their rails have it, so I went ahead and put that cutout in there myself. I've got a PTS EPMG mags in this gun. They're the closest I can get to an actual PMag, because that's a very common magazine you see used by the Spanish FGNE. I have a review for this EPMG. I'll link it below. I never did an actual review on the gun, base gun itself, but it's whatever. So, starting with the base gun, once I got that figured out, I said, okay, cool, I've got my G36. Now, I got to make this thing look cool, because I want to feel cool. And the number one rule is being cool. So the first thing I needed a way to keep this gun hooked to my body. So I had to get a way to run a sling to it. So I had to get a sling point. And the sling point was gotten and it was put on. So with that, it was a B&T sling point, which you see right here. I'll bring that up closer to the camera. So this is the sling point. It's made by B&T. And I got this from a shop in North Carolina. I'll actually link it below where I got it and how much it costs. And this was the proper sling point for the FGNE G36s. And once I got that, I realized, okay, now I need a way to put this gun on my body. And I did my due diligence, I did my research, and much to my dismay, I realized the sling I needed was a Condor Stryke sling. Yeah, I said Condor. The infamous airsoft brand of Condor. So I did some digging around, and it took a while to find the proper sling, because I don't know why, but Multicam Condor slings were not easy to come by. And I went around the internet and found one, and finally got me a Condor Stryke sling. And I was now legit. I had a Condor Stryke sling. I was able to hold the gun to my body and shoot little plastic balls in anger at other people. But then I realized I have no sighting mechanism. So what am I going to do? I looked around, and the few pictures I could find where they actually had iron sights on their rifles, I saw H&K irons, and I got the best irons I could find to fit the profile. I tried to find real H&K irons, but they were damn near impossible to locate. So I found the best airsoft replication I could find, and I had some H&K irons. Now I was able to see people with a aiming device, even though it's not necessarily an airsoft. I can just look at my BBs. But what we've talked about, the number one rule is looking cool. So now I've got iron sights on here that look the part for H&K irons. Now I've got proper aiming devices. I've got a sling. I can hold the gun to my body. I'm starting to look like an FGNE operator, but I don't know. I don't really quite feel the need, feel it. Wait, I need a foregrip. I need better purchase on the front of this rifle. So I looked through the reference photos that I've been collecting, because every good impression guy is going to do his due diligence and search and scour the internet, look for photos, and I find lots of pictures of angled foregrips, and I decide I'm going to use an angled foregrip. I got this nice Magpul angled foregrip on there, so now I'm really cooking. I feel like I've got this on lock. I feel like an operator. I got better control of the gun, and really looking the part. But nothing says operator like a good optic. So I look around, dig through my parts, and I realize, ooh, I've got the perfect optic for this kit. I've got an EOTECH 552. They run EOTECH 552s. I've got my EOTECH 552 from deployment. I'm going to throw that bad boy on this motherfucker. And I do just that. So now I'm looking cool. I've got my EOTECH on there. I've got an optic. So now I'm able to look super sexy on the airsoft field. I'm looking hella FGNE. I've got my irons. I've got my optic. I've got my foregrip. But I'm still missing a few little bits and odds and ends. And I'm like, what am I missing? Oh, wait, I know. Let's go with the PEC. But I'm not going to use a real PEC because I'm not going to be that dude running around an indoor field using a laser that's not eye safe and blinding people, giving them free LASIK. And I'm not running nods, so I don't need IR. So I go ahead and get me a nice resin Watson dummy. Link below for the review of that bad boy. It gets a sexy paint job, goes on the rifle. Now I'm looking super FGNE. And the only thing I'm really missing to make this build just that much more iconic and special is a light. And the light is hard to find. It's definitely one of the more difficult pieces because they use an older, more niche light that is not replicated by any repro companies. And it's the M3X. Not the one you normally see. It's the old model M3X. So I do my due diligence and I dig around and I actually find one on Instagram and I score me a nice, beautiful M3X and I put it on the rifle. I get this nice M3X 1913 illuminator. The closest I've seen to a replica of this is an older VFC model, but it isn't quite the actual model. But that's the closest you can get to an airsoft knockoff replica of this M3X. So when you're doing an FGNE build, you can kind of replicate a lot of things, but this is one of the only things you're going to have to track down. That's an absolute just no-go when it comes to a replication. The sad part is these are getting harder and harder to find. So I get my M3X light, and now I am feeling hella FGNE. I've got this awesome, beautiful G36-KV, and I'm ready to go out there, wear my Aerido Pixelato, put on my 6094, and just shoot people with little plastic balls and operate operationally as a Special Naval Warforce guy. This was a really fun build. It was a challenging build because some of the parts were just a little difficult to get. I was very happy that PTS came out with these EPM G-Mags when they did, because tracking down the old PTS PMags for the G36 was damn near impossible. They were really difficult to come by. And I was getting kind of upset because I really wanted some PMags because they're super common within the FGNE and even the GOE. But these are really close to the original PMAG, so they work and they look the part, and I was very happy. The closest thing I had seen to them up to that point was a flash mag, and I hate high caps or even flash mags, and I didn't want to go that route, but I was tempted to just for the look. And then tracking down, like I said, this M3X was a pain in the balls, but I got it off of Instagram actually not long after I came back to the US, and then was very lucky to track down an additional 2 more. I got one for my son's rifle build, and I was able to track one down for my Spanish friend. So the 3 that I have actually seen pop up for sale at a non-stupid price, I bought all 3 of them. So I'm so sorry if you were trying to get one. It's my fault. You didn't get it. The EOTECH I had laying around from deployment, so that was a easy thing to have because it was already here in my collection. I purchased the PEC, and that took a little while to get. The foregrip I had laying around already, and then the irons I actually didn't realize it, but I had laying around myself too. And then the sling was actually the next hardest thing to find, weirdly enough, because it's a Condor. You would think they'd be everywhere and just generic, but they're not, because Condor is not doing as much normal multicam. Apparently they're switching to OCP, and strike slings and multicam are just hard to find. I see them in black, I see them in Coyote, but not multicam. I'm still trying to track a strike in multicam for my son's G36, and I have yet to score one. But all in all, this was a really fun build to do, especially taking a Dremel and modifying this rail to have the proper little cutout. That was a lot of fun because it made it more unique and made it personal. That's the first time I've done anything like that for a build. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little walkthrough. This kind of going from naked to full, and what it takes to build a Spanish G36KV. The Spanish FGNE have since moved on from the G36. You're starting to see the G36 fall out of favor in the special operations communities around the world. They're almost all exclusively moving on to the 416. You see within the French special operations communities. You see it within the Spanish now. The Spanish FGNE have moved on to the 416A5. The GOE are still using G36s for now. I don't see how much longer that's going to last. You see the Estonians move on, and et cetera, et cetera. So it's kind of cool to do older builds because you get to do a cool old school rifle that is starting to vanish. Even the Germans are starting to move on to the 416 and other rifles, and they're starting to fade away from the G36. I was never a big G36 dude, but I actually really do enjoy playing with this gun. As always, I appreciate you guys watching my content. I appreciate you taking the time to check out this video. If you made it all the way to the end, kudos, because this is a long one. It's a 13-minute plus video. Go out there, play some Airsoft, have a good time. No matter what your play style is, just fucking get some. If you enjoyed Milsim, I hope this was or are interested in doing a more impressions, Milsim-based type play, I hope this was a useful video for you as far as a walkthrough on how to kind of set up a rifle, build it up, and go from nuts to butt and get it going. Thank you. Oh, if you're Spanish and you are, or even an FGNE dude and you saw this, let me know what you think of the rifle. Let me know what you think of my build, because I would love to hear back from you. If you want to know anything about any of the specific items on this build, hit me up in the comments and I'll be more happy to extrapolate further or go into more detail. If you want me to do a standalone video on any of the pieces on this build that I have not already done so, I will be more than happy to go in depth also. Thank you again for your time. As always, stay classy, guys, and remember the #1 rule, fucking look cool. Take care.